Let's go direct to this particular immigration question. Should I go to Canada or United States of America? Which country between these two should I go? We know both they are North American countries. But which of the two should you go? It is one of the most asked questions for people. But it's not just like putting two countries here and I'm going to number one, or you close your eyes and just pull up one country, say, now I'm going to Canada, now I'm going to US. There are questions you need to ask yourself before choosing either of these two countries. Should I go? Why do you want to go? What do you want to accomplish? Do you plan to go and live in either of those two countries on a permanent basis? What immigration pathway are you going to use? For my skill set and what I want to do in my entire life, which of these two countries will be able to offer to me than the other country? You need to have some initial discussion in your head before to pinpoint what or which of these two countries should you go. If you want to go to a visit, it's a different reason, like I want to go to this country, but my end game is to become a permanent resident. And overall immigration pathway will you be able to determine a quick way. Why am I saying that way? Sometimes you might fall in love with one country so much, but based on your qualifications, you might not be in a position to get it or to get something quick. So you have to be able to change. Just someone who might be a dream to become a doctor, but the reality might be you are not good in biology or physics. You didn't get good grades, so you had to go and take something else. You have to make the best of other things. It doesn't mean that you have to stuck on that regret for the rest of your life. So that's something you need to know. Because of the United States is so big, because the United States is so famous in terms of Hollywood and everything, they show a lot about the United States. Some people forget about Canada. They do not know much about Canada. So when you put the two countries here, majority which is, obviously I'm going to the United States, you think that if you come here, you are going to meet Jaru, or you are going to meet maybe these famous celebrities, whatever, all those kind of things. I know because you have so much information about one country, so sometimes you might be biased to make that decision. But I want you to make a close look yourself. If your aim is to go and become a permanent resident, you have to look closely and choose a country appropriately on your needs. But just one thing, remember, both Canada and the United States are the first world countries. The life I live here and the life someone lives in Canada are almost the same. We are the almost first world country. So the level of development lifestyle is similar. So don't make a decision, if I go to America, I'll look prestigious like a more better person than the other person. No. Look on your goals, actual goals. Don't look on the Instagram photo and think that when you write location, Hollywood Boulevard, everybody will be excited. Then what are you going to gain by putting that location? What are you going to gain? That is a smaller thing in a into the bigger picture, what you're going to attain. So, let me start with the overall goal is to become a permanent resident. So if your overall goal is to go and to become a permanent resident, I will tell you, choose and you should go to Canada. Unless otherwise, you are coming to the United States from day one as a permanent resident. Do you see my point? I'm talking about the immigration pathway. If you are coming to the United States as a permanent resident from day one, obviously you should come to the US, don't go to Canada. But if you are coming to the United States with a non-immigrant visa, like a visa, like a student, tourist, work visa, all those type of visas, and you get the same type of visa in Canada, you should go to Canada. Because it is easier, or there are so many immigration pathways for you from whatever visa you have in Canada to become a permanent resident. But there are so much complications, so much challenges, overall fewer pathways for you to move from other immigration status you have to become a permanent resident in the United States. So the point should not be, I want to live in California, I want to be in New York, I want to be in Chicago, I want to be in Hawaii. That should not be the point. The point, I want to go there, I want my children to get a very high level free education from these countries, both in US and Canada, from primary school to high school is free of charge. I want to be there to have a very good job, to get good pay, or to start my business. You can do either of those two countries. So that should not be the point. The point is my end result, my goal is to live there only permanently. So if I go to Canada as an international student, when I graduate, it is easier for me to become a permanent resident than if I come as a student to the United States and to become a permanent resident. It is easier for Canada to go as a professional worker, whether it's a skilled or we call temporary workers, which not like, I don't want to use the word unskilled, but the other types of jobs, like a nanny, you can go there and get permanent resident in Canada than in the United States. Even as a visitor in Canada, there are so many other ways you can become a permanent resident quicker than the United States. You can apply from your own country, direct express entry, which you direct apply for the system. They look on the merit-based immigration. They are looking for your points, your education, work experience, language, whatever, everything is put them there. You get to certain points, you can be able to process and become a permanent resident of the country. But you cannot apply based on the points from your country. You are chilling in India and apply a permanent resident of US direct. No, you have to apply the lottery, or you have to wait on the family based, that you are married to a US citizen, your parent is a US citizen, and you're in this particular age, whatever the type of groups, to apply direct as a permanent resident. And even for work, US cannot give you a permanent residence direct. They'll give you a professional H1 visa. You come here as a professional worker, then after time, employer has to sponsor you. But in Canada, once you have a job, you can apply, if you qualify the requirements, maybe 2 years of work, full time. On your own, you can apply for permanent residence without getting sponsorship from your employer. So where should you go? If your aim is to go to a country and seek for permanent residence, go to Canada. Because there will be so many ways and quicker ways to get a permanent residence of Canada, to get settled in Canada. But if you come to the United States, there are fewer ways. Like one is diversity visa or green card lottery. You can apply and get direct here. Not many people have relatives, like when I say relative, like their spouse or parents are US citizens, to sponsor them. So there are very few ways. And even while you are here, the work permit as a student after finishing studies is less time than in Canada. But if you win the lottery, let's say to come to the United States, and at the same time, You have permanent, you get the express entry. You have two. Which one should you choose? If I'm in that situation, you might choose whatever you prefer. But if I'm in a situation where I applied for express entry and I got it, but before I go to the express entry to Canada, I get a green card by lottery. So both, I'm going there as a permanent resident of these two countries. Where should I go if I have to choose one? You're allowed to go to one and to become permanent resident here and go to Canada and take that one. You can take both. But let's say you have to choose one. Definitely, I'm choosing the United States. Why? Because I'm coming as a permanent resident and I have so much opportunities here to succeed than in Canada. Why am I saying that way? The first part I was talking about the pathway. By the way of becoming a permanent resident, it is easier in Canada in that way. So I'll choose Canada because of that. But if I know for sure, if I go to the United States, based on 1, 2, 3, I'm going to become a permanent resident, or I'm coming from day one as a permanent resident, obviously, I'm choosing the United States. Why? Is because if you are in the United States, you have a bigger room for you to succeed. Number one, if I mention quick, United States is the combination, is a union of 50 states. Rather, we can say 50 countries. So if you stay in one state, life is difficult, you go to another state. I studied in West Virginia, moved to California, moved to Kansas, I'm in Missouri. Just assume you are in Africa. Entire Africa is one country. If you have difficulties getting a job in Tanzania, you can apply a job to Ghana. And you don't need to have work permit. You just get into the bus, you get into the plane, you get into the boat, whatever methodology you are using to another country. That makes it easy. So you can have more opportunities for jobs. You can have more opportunities to start business. You can have more opportunities from one country to another, which is from one state to another state, if we call states as countries. Just assume the California as a state, the population of California as a state is higher than the population of entire Canada as a country. That's how big US is. And let's say someone has a bad medical situation, you can move from one state of one weather condition to another state of another weather condition. In Canada, the difference is extreme winter from one winter to another. But here you can say, I want to go to live in a state where that doesn't have a snow at all when I get old. That's why you see many people are going to retire, they go to Florida. So you have more options in this way. And if you start the business, even within the US, you'll be able to have more customers depending on the nature of your business. And so many other factors you might consider US to take an edge over Canada. But overall, the lifestyle in general are more or less the same because they are both North American first world country. So, overall, the methodology, the pathway you are using to go to a country, and the end game, if you want to become a permanent resident, will determine to choose which country you should go. Don't just go for the matter of because I can see the movies. I can go and see in Hollywood Boulevard. Those should not be the factors. You can go as a tourist if you want. And if you're in Canada, to come to US is easier. From US to go to Canada is just easy. So don't just make the decision to come to America to struggle for 7 years to get a green card, while if you can go to another country, you can get a green card within 2 or 3 years. So choose wisely when you are going to make the decision, based on your pathway, based on your goal, based on your qualifications. You are a musician, you are actor, actresses. Obviously, US will be a better way no matter what, because the film entertainment industry is very huge in the United States. So there are other factors you have to consider before you make a move from one over to other. But overall, my final advice will be, before you say, should I go to Canada or to US, apply to opportunities in both countries. If you get them, then make a decision. Because you can say, I want to go to Canada, but you don't meet the qualification to go to Canada, and you apply for the lottery, you are going to win. Or let's say you say, I want to go to the United States. You apply to go to do masters, you get a fully funded scholarship, and in Canada you get a work. So sometimes the better opportunity will depend on other circumstances, but don't stop applying the opportunities on other countries because you have decided, I like US more than Canada, or I like Canada more than US, so you ignore every opportunity from the other country. Apply to both countries, look at the opportunities available to both countries, apply. Once you get them, you have both beds on hand. Choose which bed between the two is going to give you the better meat and the better delicious food over the other. That's what I can say.